The palace of Elindor stretched like a silver crown over the green hills of the kingdom. Its towers sparkled under the morning sun, and the gardens bloomed with flowers from all over the world. Among the many people who walked its halls, Princess Mara was the most remarkable. She was known for her courage, her sharp mind, and her love for adventure. She could ride faster than any knight, climb higher than any scout, and strategize better than any council member. People admired her, and even the guards treated her with a mix of awe and respect. Despite all her bravery, Mara had one companion who was different from all the others. His name was Thomas, a human guard from a distant planet. Thomas was strong, disciplined, and quietly clever. He had been assigned to protect Mara years ago, and in all that time not a single threat had succeeded in reaching her. Thomas did not seek attention or praise. He believed that loyalty was his duty, and duty was not a choice. Mara had grown to trust him completely. That morning the palace was alive with activity. Couriers ran across the marble halls carrying messages from neighboring kingdoms. The kitchen staff prepared a grand breakfast for the royal family. Knights polished their armor, and the castle's mechanical guards hummed softly, scanning the perimeter. Mara, as usual, was already awake. She walked across the balcony overlooking the gardens, her eyes catching the sunlight. Her golden hair reflected the sun like fire, and her emerald green cloak fluttered behind her. "Good morning, Thomas," she said as he appeared beside her, quietly as always. "The wind feels strange today." "I think something is about to happen," Thomas frowned. "You think too much about danger, Princess." "The morning is calm. Nothing is wrong," Mara smiled. "Perhaps, or perhaps I have a feeling that the calm is only before a storm." Thomas did not reply. He always listened to her instincts. Over the years he had learned that her senses were rarely wrong. After breakfast, Mara insisted on inspecting the outer walls herself. Thomas followed her through the palace corridors, keeping a watchful eye on the surrounding area. They passed the training grounds where young knights practiced with swords and bows. Mara waved at a few of them, encouraging them to keep their skills sharp. By mid-morning, Mara grew restless. She wanted to explore the gardens beyond the palace walls, where rare flowers and exotic trees grew. Thomas reminded her that it was unusual for a princess to leave the palace without a full escort. But Mara only laughed. "Do not worry," she said. "I will not be gone long. I just want to see the moonflowers in bloom. They only open under the sun's first light." Thomas hesitated but finally followed her. Knowing that arguing with Mara was pointless, she was determined and fearless. Together they walked toward the edge of the palace grounds. The gardens were quiet and the scent of flowers filled the air. Birds sang in the trees and butterflies floated gently between the blooms. Mara stopped at a rare blue flower, kneeling to examine it closely. Suddenly, a faint shimmer of light appeared near the flower bed. It was small at first, like a reflection on water, but it began to grow brighter. Mara straightened immediately, her eyes narrowing. Thomas stepped closer to her instinctively. "Princess, stay back," he warned. But Mara did not move. She felt an unexplainable curiosity. She reached toward the light, and in the blink of an eye it surrounded her. Thomas lunged forward, but the light was stronger than any force he had ever seen. In a flash, Mara vanished completely. Thomas stood frozen, staring at the empty space where Mara had been. The shimmer disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. For a moment, the garden seemed calm again. But Thomas could feel the danger lingering in the air. He shouted her name, running through the flower beds and checking every corner. But Mara was gone. The palace erupted with alarm. Messengers ran to the council chambers and guards formed search parties. The king and queen were summoned immediately. When they arrived, they found Thomas alone in the garden, his face pale but determined. "Where is she?" the queen demanded, her voice shaking with fear. "I do not know, Your Majesty," Thomas said. "She vanished in front of me. I tried to stop it, but—" He did not finish. The weight of guilt pressed heavily on his shoulders. The king clenched his fists. "We must find her at once. Send all search teams. Check the forest, the mountains, the rivers, everywhere." Thomas nodded. He did not wait for further orders. He knew Mara's instincts would guide her, but he also knew that danger was real. He headed toward the forest, following the faint signs the princess might have left behind. Broken branches, displaced stones, and subtle energy traces marked her path. He examined each carefully, noting that the signals were unusual. They did not match any known wildlife or human device. As he ventured deeper, Thomas realized the forest was different today. The air was thicker, almost electric, and shadows moved strangely among the trees. He paused, scanning the area. A small drone, unlike anything he had seen, hovered silently above the treetops. Its design was sleek, with lights that pulsed softly. Thomas instinctively ducked, staying hidden. The drone did not attack. Instead, it seemed to observe. Thomas followed its movements, wondering if it was connected to Mara's disappearance. He noticed faint footprints nearby. Not human, not animal, but something in between. Whoever or whatever had taken Mara was not ordinary. Hours passed. Thomas tracked the signs as night approached, his determination growing stronger. He remembered Mara's words from that morning. Perhaps this was a test, a challenge only she could sense. Thomas knew he could not fail her. He had trained for years for moments like this, and he would not let fear stop him. Meanwhile, inside the palace, panic spread like wildfire. The council debated theories. Some believed Mara had been kidnapped by enemies. Others whispered about dark magic or alien involvement. Thomas knew the truth was more complicated. He had seen many strange things in his travels, but this was different. The shimmer of light, the energy traces, the mysterious drone, all pointed to a force beyond ordinary understanding. Thomas stopped to rest near a small clearing. He checked his gear, his blade, communicator, and a few survival tools. He knew he might have to face dangers that could not be defeated with strength alone. Thinking of Mara gave him courage. He remembered how she had faced impossible odds before, often risking herself to protect others. Thomas realized she might be testing him too, seeing if he could follow her through challenges that no ordinary guard could survive. Suddenly, a soft rustle sounded in the trees. Thomas crouched, drawing his blade. Out of the shadows emerged a small glowing creature. It had 4 legs, wings like a dragonfly, and eyes that shimmered like gemstones. The creature made no sound, but Thomas sensed intelligence behind its gaze. He did not attack. Mara had taught him to be cautious, not reckless. The creature hovered, observing him. Then, almost imperceptibly, it moved in the direction Thomas had been tracking. He understood immediately. The creature was pointing him toward Mara. He followed silently, heart pounding, careful not to disturb the forest. Night fell, and the moonlight guided Thomas through twisting paths and hidden clearings. He saw faint traces of Mara's presence, footprints that vanished into thin air, flowers bent as if someone had brushed past them, and the shimmer of light that had first appeared in the garden. It was as if the forest itself was alive and watching, guiding him. Finally, Thomas reached a high cliff overlooking a valley. From this vantage point, he could see a faint glow in the distance. He did not know what awaited him, but he felt closer than ever to finding Mara. He thought of the princess curled up in the palace gardens just hours ago, fearless and alive. He would not let anything harm her. Thomas took a deep breath, gripping his blade tightly. The journey had only begun, but he was ready. He had faced countless dangers, but the greatest challenge was ahead. Discovering why the fiercest princess in the kingdom had vanished, and how he could bring her back safely. With one last glance at the moonlit forest, Thomas stepped forward, determined to follow the trail no matter where it led. Mara's courage had brought her into danger, and Thomas's loyalty would see her safely through it. The valley spread wide below Thomas, bathed in silver moonlight. Trees twisted and stretched toward the sky, and streams reflected the stars like scattered jewels. Thomas could see faint trails glowing softly, traces of the strange energy that had accompanied Princess Mara's disappearance. His heart raced with both worry and determination. He had tracked strange creatures and alien signals before, but nothing prepared him for this. He took a deep breath, feeling the cool night air fill his lungs. Thomas adjusted his cloak, checked his gear, and descended carefully into the valley. Every sound echoed in the silence, the crack of a twig, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl. His senses sharpened. Thomas knew Mara was somewhere in this valley, but he did not know if she was safe or in danger. Hours passed as he moved through the dense forest, following the faint glow of energy markers. Each step brought new signs, a broken branch, a strange footprint, and once a soft hum in the air that made his skin tingle. Thomas stopped to examine each clue carefully. He noticed that some signs were deliberate, almost as if Mara had left them herself, guiding him through the forest. Finally, Thomas came to a clearing where the ground shimmered like glass. Tiny particles floated in the air, sparkling in the moonlight. He crouched, studying the scene. The shimmer pulsed faintly, and he could see faint traces of footprints leading deeper into the forest. Thomas understood immediately. This was not ordinary magic or natural energy. Something or someone had transported Mara using advanced technology, likely from another world. As he followed the trail, Thomas remembered the stories of alien scouts that sometimes visited Elendor. Most were harmless observers, but some tested humans for strength and loyalty. He realized that Mara might have encountered such beings either by choice or by chance. Thomas tightened his grip on his blade. He would protect her no matter what he faced. Hours of walking brought him to a small river, its waters glowing faintly with bioluminescent algae. Thomas paused to drink, knowing that the journey ahead could be long and dangerous. He noticed footprints along the muddy bank. Some were human-like, others strange and unfamiliar, with sharp claws or delicate patterns that shimmered in the moonlight. Thomas frowned. Whoever or whatever was involved, they were not ordinary creatures of Elendor. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, and Thomas froze. From the treetops, tiny drones hovered, their lights pulsing in soft patterns. He ducked behind a tree, his heart pounding. These were not natural animals. He had seen similar drones in distant kingdoms used for observation and surveillance, but these were far more advanced. Thomas watched quietly, studying the patterns. The drones did not attack, only observed. He realized they were likely monitoring Mara, keeping her safe or perhaps testing her. Thomas's mind raced. He knew he needed to reach her before anything went wrong. He continued along the river, moving silently. The forest seemed alive with whispers of energy. Shadows shifted in unusual ways, and Thomas felt as if unseen eyes followed him. He relied on his instincts and his training, carefully avoiding detection while tracking Mara's trail. Hours passed, and exhaustion began to weigh on him. Thomas finally reached a cliff overlooking a dense part of the forest. Below, a faint glow shone in the distance. Thomas knew he had come close. He descended carefully, moving through thick undergrowth. Suddenly, he heard a soft cry, almost like a whisper carried by the wind. Thomas froze, listening. The cry repeated, clearer this time. It was a human voice. He ran toward the sound, pushing through branches and brambles. In a small clearing, he found her. Mara was there, crouched near a cluster of glowing flowers. Her eyes shone with curiosity and determination, not fear. She looked up at him and smiled faintly. "Thomas," she said softly, "you found me." He ran to her, kneeling beside her. "Princess, are you safe?" "What happened?" Mara pointed toward the shimmering light surrounding the clearing. "I do not know exactly. Something brought me here. I felt a force like it wanted me to follow it. I thought I could handle it on my own, but I waited for you." Tomas studied the area. The shimmer pulsed softly, and he noticed faint markings on the ground. "This is not natural," he said. "Someone or something brought you here. We must be careful. I do not know what we might face," Mara nodded. "I felt it too. The lights, the energy, they are intelligent. They seem to be testing us. I wanted to see what they were, but I could not understand it completely." Thomas helped her to her feet. Together, they began moving cautiously through the clearing, following the path marked by the energy shimmer. Mara stayed close to Thomas, her trust in him clear. He felt a surge of relief. Even the fiercest princess needed allies, and he was ready to be hers. As they moved deeper into the forest, strange creatures appeared. Small, glowing animals with translucent wings hovered near the trees. Some had multiple eyes, others had elongated limbs that glided silently over the ground. Thomas held his blade ready but did not attack. Mara had taught him to observe first, understand second, and act only if necessary. The creatures watched them curiously but did not approach. Thomas realized they were likely part of the test Mara had mentioned. The princess's instincts guided them safely through the creatures, moving with a confidence that impressed Thomas. He understood why the people of Elendor admired her so greatly. After some time, they reached a small hill. From its top, Thomas could see a vast network of glowing tunnels hidden beneath the forest. The tunnels pulsed with the same strange energy he had seen before. Mara stepped forward, her eyes shining. "This is where the shimmer leads," she said. "I think we need to go inside." "I am not afraid," Thomas nodded. "Neither am I, but stay close. We do not know what is inside these tunnels." Together, they entered the first tunnel. The walls glowed faintly, illuminating their path. Thomas noticed strange symbols etched into the walls, patterns that seemed to shift as they walked. The energy pulsed softly, almost like it was alive. Mara reached out and touched one of the symbols. "It reacts to me," she said. It is almost as if it recognizes me. But why? Thomas frowned. Perhaps it is part of the test you mentioned. We must be careful. As they walked deeper, the tunnel narrowed, forcing them to move in single file. Thomas kept his senses alert. Every sound, every shimmer of light, every shadow could signal danger. Yet Mara moved confidently ahead, as if she understood the energy in a way Thomas could not. Suddenly, the tunnel opened into a large chamber. The walls were covered in glowing crystals, casting reflections across the floor. In the center, a small platform floated above the ground. Thomas and Mara approached cautiously. On the platform lay a device unlike anything Thomas had seen. It pulsed with energy, sending ripples through the air. Mara stepped closer, studying it. "This must be what brought me here," she said. "It is intelligent. It guided me, but I do not know why." Thomas examined the platform. "It seems harmless for now, but we cannot be sure. We must move carefully. I will stay near you at all times." Mara nodded. Together they explored the chamber. Thomas noticed faint grooves in the floor, like pathways leading to hidden sections. The energy shimmered in response to their movements. Thomas realized that the chamber was designed to test them, perhaps their courage, their intelligence, or their loyalty. Hours passed as they navigated the chamber. Thomas kept watch while Mara investigated the devices and crystals. He admired her bravery. Even in a strange place filled with unknown energy, she remained calm and focused. Finally, Mara stopped at a corner of the chamber. She touched a crystal, and a holographic map appeared, showing the surrounding forest and tunnels. Thomas studied it carefully. "This map shows the tunnels and the surrounding areas," he said. "It might help us find the way out, or perhaps lead us to the source of this energy." Mara nodded. "I want to understand it. I want to know why it brought me here. But first we must ensure we are safe." Thomas smiled faintly. "We will. Together." For the first time since her disappearance, Mara allowed herself to relax, trusting Thomas completely. They had faced danger together, and the bond between them grew stronger. Thomas knew that the journey was far from over, but he also knew that Mara's courage and his loyalty would guide them through whatever challenges awaited. The chamber pulsed with energy around them, but Thomas and Mara moved with confidence. Each step brought them closer to answers, closer to understanding the mystery of Mara's disappearance, and closer to uncovering the truth about the forces that had brought them into this strange and glowing world. The search had begun in earnest, and Thomas knew that no matter what lay ahead, he would protect the princess at all costs. The chamber of glowing crystals seemed to pulse with life as Princess Mara and Thomas examined the strange holographic map. Light danced across the walls, casting shifting patterns that made the room appear alive. Thomas studied the map carefully. It showed multiple tunnels, some twisting deep beneath the forest floor, others leading toward distant hills. He understood that the path ahead would not be easy. "We need to follow the tunnel that leads to the brightest energy source," Thomas said. "It is likely connected to whatever brought you here." Mara nodded. "I agree. I feel drawn toward it. Perhaps it holds answers." Thomas remained cautious. He had learned long ago that the unknown could be both dangerous and deceptive. He kept his hand on the hilt of his blade while they moved carefully through the glowing corridors. Every step echoed softly and the air shimmered around them, almost as if it were alive. As they navigated the tunnels, Thomas noticed subtle changes in the energy. The light grew warmer and soft hums filled the air. Shadows shifted strangely, sometimes resembling animals, sometimes human forms. Mara touched one of the walls and a ripple of light spread across the surface. "This place is remarkable," Mara whispered. "It reacts to us, Thomas. It is not just a tunnel." "It is intelligent," Thomas nodded. "Then we must treat it with respect. One wrong move, and we could trigger something we do not understand." The tunnel opened into a wide cavern filled with crystalline pillars. The air sparkled with energy, and Thomas could feel a soft vibration beneath his feet. In the center of the cavern hovered a small glowing figure. Thomas and Mara froze, unsure if it was friend or foe. The figure was no taller than a child, with translucent wings and eyes that shone like tiny stars. It hovered effortlessly, moving in smooth, deliberate motions. Thomas could sense intelligence in every gesture. The creature tilted its head, observing them carefully. Mara stepped forward. "Who are you?" she asked. The figure made a soft, musical sound, then spoke in a voice that echoed in their minds rather than in the air. "I am Kiro. I have been watching. You, Princess Mara, are the one I seek. Thomas drew his blade slowly, unsure of Kiro's intentions. Why should we trust you? He asked. Kiro's eyes shimmered brighter. I mean no harm. I have observed your world for many cycles. Your courage is unusual. You, Princess, have been chosen because of your bravery. The tunnels brought you here to see a test, but danger lies ahead. You will need guidance. Mara looked at Thomas, then back at Kiro. We do not have time for hesitation. If you are truly an ally, show us the path to the source of the energy. We must understand it before it becomes a threat. Kiro hovered closer, pulsing with a soft blue light. Follow me, and I will lead you. But be warned. The path is filled with trials. You will need courage, intelligence, and trust in each other. Thomas sheathed his blade, recognizing that this was no ordinary enemy. We will follow. But know this, we will protect the princess at all costs. Kiro's glow brightened. Then we begin. Step lightly and do not let fear guide you. The trio moved deeper into the cavern. Kiro led them along narrow pathways between towering crystal pillars. The pillars hummed faintly as they passed, resonating with energy that Thomas could feel in his bones. Mara reached out, touching one of the pillars. It pulsed in response, sending a warm glow through her fingertips. This place is alive, Mara whispered. It reacts to everything we do. I think it wants us to learn something. Thomas nodded. Or it wants to test us. We must stay alert. As they moved, shadows began to stretch across the cavern walls. Figures appeared at the edge of the glow. Tall, alien beings with metallic limbs and glowing eyes. Thomas raised his blade, ready to defend Mara. Kiro moved between them and the shadows. Do not fear. These are watchers. They test your courage. Approach without hostility, and they will not harm you. Mara stepped forward, her eyes steady and determined. We mean no harm. We seek only understanding. The shadows paused, then slowly receded. The cavern fell silent, and the hum of energy returned to its gentle rhythm. Thomas lowered his blade, impressed by Mara's courage. Even in the face of unknown beings, she remained calm and confident. Kiro guided them to a smaller tunnel leading deeper underground. The air grew warmer, and the glow of the crystals intensified. Thomas noticed faint markings on the walls, symbols that shifted as they moved past. What do these mean? He asked. Kiro's voice echoed in their minds. These are warnings and guidance. They show the safe path, but they also reveal challenges. Pay attention, for the wrong turn can lead to danger. Mara studied the symbols carefully, tracing them with her fingers. I can feel their meaning. They show obstacles and ways to overcome them. We must work together to read them correctly. Thomas nodded. Then let us proceed with caution. Hours passed as they navigated tunnels, deciphering symbols and avoiding traps. Thomas relied on his training, watching for danger and protecting Mara from unseen threats. Mara's intuition guided them through puzzles and obstacles, revealing her sharp mind and bravery. Kiro provided subtle hints, glowing brighter whenever they chose the correct path. At last, they reached a large chamber filled with swirling energy. Thomas and Mara stopped awestruck. The energy formed patterns in the air like ribbons of light dancing in the darkness. At the center of the chamber was a pedestal glowing with intense energy. This is it, Mara whispered. The source of the power that brought me here. Thomas examined the pedestal carefully. It is powerful, but we do not know its purpose. We must be careful in how we approach it. Kiro hovered near the pedestal. This is a test of loyalty and courage. You may touch it, but only if you are ready to face the consequences. The energy will reveal your character and intentions. Mara stepped forward, her hand outstretched. Thomas moved beside her, his hand hovering over hers. Are you sure? He asked. I am, Mara said firmly. I must understand this. I must know why it called me here. Together they touched the pedestal. The energy surged around them, lifting them slightly off the ground. Thomas felt a warmth spread through his body, and a vision appeared in his mind. He saw the kingdom, the palace, and the people they had sworn to protect. He felt their hopes, their fears, and their trust. Mara saw a different vision. She saw the tunnels, the glowing crystals, and the strange beings observing her. She felt the energy of the chamber and understood that it was testing not just her courage, but her choices and intentions. The vision faded, and Thomas and Mara found themselves back on solid ground. Kiro hovered before them, pulsing softly. You have passed the test. Your courage and loyalty are true. You understand the energy and it recognizes your intentions. There are greater challenges ahead, but you are ready. Mara looked at Thomas, a small smile on her face. We did it, together. Thomas nodded, feeling relief and pride. He had followed the princess through unknown dangers, and together they had proven their strength and trust. Cairo hovered closer, its glow brightening. The next phase awaits. You will need allies and wisdom. The kingdom's future may depend on what you learn here, but for now, rest. You have earned a moment of peace. Mara and Thomas found a small alcove near the chamber walls, where the energy glowed gently and warmth spread through the air. They rested briefly, knowing that the journey ahead would be even more demanding. Mara reflected on the events of the day, the shimmer that had brought her here, the strange tunnels and the courage Thomas had shown. Thomas looked at Mara, his expression serious but calm. You are the fiercest person I have ever met, Princess. But even the fiercest need allies. Let us face the next challenge together. Mara nodded. And I am glad my ally is you, Thomas. We will face whatever comes next side by side. Kiro's glow dimmed slightly, signaling approval. Rest but be ready. The forces beyond these tunnels are testing the kingdom, and your courage and loyalty will guide the way. You have proven yourself, but the true trial is yet to come. As Thomas and Mara rested, the cavern hummed softly, the crystals casting shadows that danced like whispers of the future. They both knew that their journey was far from over, but they had found a guide, an unexpected ally in Kiro, and their bond had grown stronger. Together they would face the challenges ahead and uncover the mysteries that had brought Mara to this strange and glowing world. Outside, the forest shimmered faintly as if alive with energy, watching the princess and her guard. Thomas understood that this adventure was only beginning, and that courage, trust, and wisdom would be their greatest weapons. The cavern hummed softly as Princess Mara and Thomas prepared to follow Kiro deeper into the tunnels. The air shimmered with energy, casting soft shadows across the walls. Mara adjusted her cloak, her eyes reflecting the light of the crystals. Thomas checked his gear, keeping his hand close to the hilt of his blade. The energy around them pulsed like a living heartbeat, and both of them felt the weight of the unknown pressing on their shoulders. Kiro hovered ahead, its glow brightening slightly. The next phase is dangerous. The forces you seek are aware of your presence. They will test you in ways you cannot predict. Trust each other and you will succeed. Mara nodded. We are ready. Whatever lies ahead, we face it together. Thomas gave a small, determined nod. I will protect you, Princess, no matter what comes. The tunnel opened into a wide valley hidden beneath the forest. Strange lights flickered in the distance, and Thomas could see alien structures rising from the ground. The buildings were sleek, with metallic surfaces that reflected the soft glow of the energy crystals scattered around. He realized immediately that these were not natural formations. They were the bases of the rogue alien mercenaries Kiro had warned them about. Stay close, Thomas whispered, drawing his blade. We do not know what they want or how many there are. Mara moved beside him, her expression calm but alert. I can feel them. They are testing us, but they are not aware of everything we can do. We must be careful and clever. As they approached the alien structures, shadows moved across the ground. Thomas tensed, ready for an attack, but Kiro hovered between them and the shadows. Observe first. Do not act unless necessary. These beings are watching and waiting for a mistake. Mara studied the aliens from behind a crystal pillar. They were tall and thin, with metallic limbs and eyes that glowed like molten metal. Their movements were precise, almost mechanical. Thomas noticed that they carried energy weapons designed to fire pulses of light. The aliens had not yet detected them, but any sudden noise could alert them. We need to get closer, Mara whispered. I want to understand what they are planning. Thomas frowned. It is risky. We do not know how many there are or what they will do if they see us. Mara placed a hand on his arm. I trust you, Thomas. Stay with me. Together they moved closer, using the shadows and the terrain for cover. Thomas admired Mara's confidence. Even in the face of unknown dangers, she remained focused and fearless. He knew why the kingdom respected her so deeply. Her courage inspired those around her, and her intelligence allowed them to navigate challenges that would have defeated others. Finally, they reached a vantage point overlooking the alien base. Thomas could see several mercenaries moving between buildings, exchanging glowing devices. Mara pointed toward a small enclosure near the center of the base. That is where they are keeping the prisoners, she said softly. I do not know if it includes humans, but we must investigate. Tomas nodded. Then we find a way inside without being seen. They circled the base, moving quietly through the shadows. Kiro hovered above, guiding them with subtle pulses of light. As they approached the enclosure, Thomas noticed that the alien guards were fewer than expected. This could be their chance. Mara crouched beside him, her eyes scanning for weak points in the structure. I see a way in, she whispered. There is a small opening beneath the main gate. It is narrow, but it will allow us to enter unnoticed. Tomas studied the gate. It is risky. One mistake and they will detect us immediately. Mara smiled faintly. Then we must not make mistakes. Together they slipped through the narrow opening. Tomas kept his blade ready while Mara moved silently beside him. The interior of the enclosure was dimly lit, with shadows stretching across the metallic walls. Thomas could hear faint noises, voices, the clanging of metal, and the hum of alien technology. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the corner. Thomas froze, then recognized the familiar form. Princess Mara's eyes widened with relief and determination. Thomas, she whispered, moving closer. They have taken prisoners from other worlds. We must free them. Thomas nodded. Then we act carefully. We cannot let them know we are here until it is the right moment. Together they moved through the enclosure, avoiding the guards. Mara's knowledge of strategy and Thomas's experience in stealth allowed them to advance without being detected. Kiro hovered above, providing guidance and subtle warnings whenever danger approached. Finally, they reached the prisoners. Thomas saw humans and other creatures all bound but unharmed. Mara approached the nearest group, her hands moving quickly to release their restraints. You are safe now, she said gently. We will get you out of here. Thomas helped free the others, keeping a watchful eye for guards. The aliens were close, and any mistake could alert them. Mara's calm and precise actions inspired confidence in the prisoners, who followed her without hesitation. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Thomas and Mara froze as the metallic guards appeared, weapons raised. The aliens had detected their presence now. Thomas whispered, "Stay close to me." Mara moved beside him, her eyes sharp and alert. The first guard advanced, firing pulses of energy. Thomas deflected the attack with his blade, sending a shockwave that knocked the guard back. Mara moved with speed and precision, disarming another mercenary with a swift kick. The prisoners began to scatter, following Thomas and Mara toward a side exit. Kiro hovered above, creating small bursts of light that distracted the remaining guards. The chamber filled with flashes and hums as Thomas and Mara fought to protect the escape route. Mara noticed a large alien approaching from the rear. She stepped forward, placing herself between the guard and Thomas. I will hold him, she said firmly. Get the prisoners out, Tomas hesitated. Princess, you cannot fight alone. I am not alone, she replied, her eyes steady. You are with me. Together they faced the guard. Thomas and Mara moved in perfect coordination, combining strength and strategy. Thomas blocked attacks while Mara struck with precision. The guard was powerful, but he underestimated their teamwork. Finally, Thomas delivered a swift blow that sent the alien staggering back, and Mara followed with a strike that incapacitated him completely. With the immediate threat neutralized, Thomas led the prisoners through the side exit. Mara stayed close behind, keeping watch. Kiro's light guided them through the maze-like tunnels, ensuring they avoided further danger. Hours passed as they navigated the tunnels, emerging at last into the forest outside the alien base. The prisoners were exhausted but safe. Thomas helped them to their feet, ensuring everyone could move. Mara looked around, her eyes scanning for any signs of pursuit. They will not follow us here, she said. The base is hidden and the tunnels confuse them. We have bought time, Thomas nodded. Then we must get everyone to safety. The kingdom will protect them, and we must prepare for any future threats. Mara allowed herself a rare moment of relief. She curled up slightly near Thomas, feeling the comfort of his presence. Thomas glanced at her, understanding her trust. Even the fiercest princess sometimes needed support, and he would provide it without question. Kiro hovered above, its glow soft and approving. You have succeeded. Your courage, loyalty, and teamwork have saved many lives. But the challenges are not over. Greater dangers may come, and you must be ready. Mara looked at Thomas, her expression serious but calm. We faced danger together and we protected others. That is what matters. We must continue to be vigilant, but we have proven our strength. Thomas smiled faintly. We are stronger together, Princess. We will face whatever comes next as a team. The forest around them was quiet, the soft glow of energy crystals marking their path. Thomas and Mara led the prisoners safely through the trees, returning them to the kingdom. Along the way, Mara's calm confidence inspired courage in the others. Thomas's vigilance ensured their safety, proving the strength of loyalty and friendship. By the time they reached the palace, dawn was breaking. The first light of morning illuminated the gardens, and the castle towers glimmered in gold. Citizens gathered to witness the return of the princess and her companions. Thomas ensured the prisoners were taken to safety, and Mara addressed the crowd with calm authority. "We have faced danger together," she said, her voice steady. "But courage, loyalty, and trust have guided us. Let this be a reminder that even in the darkest times, we can overcome any challenge if we face it together." The citizens cheered, recognizing the bravery of both Mara and Thomas. The princess's fierce courage and the human guard's unwavering loyalty inspired hope throughout the kingdom. As the crowd dispersed, Mara and Thomas stood together, reflecting on the events of the night. The alien base had been a test, the tunnels a challenge, and the prisoners' rescue a triumph of teamwork. Kiro hovered nearby, its light dim but steady. "Do you think this is the end of the danger?" Mara asked softly. Thomas shook his head. "No, this was only the beginning. But whatever comes next, we face it together." Mara smiled faintly. "And I am glad you are by my side, Thomas. Together we are stronger than anything they can send against us." The forest shimmered softly in the morning light, and the kingdom of Elendor began a new day. The princess and her guard had faced the unknown, saved lives, and proven that courage and loyalty could overcome any challenge. Their journey was far from over, but they were ready for whatever awaited them next. The first rays of sunlight bathed the kingdom of Elendor in gold, as Princess Mara and Thomas guided the rescued prisoners through the palace gates. The citizens, awakened by the commotion, had gathered outside, their faces filled with relief and curiosity. Whispers ran through the crowd as they saw Mara safe and surrounded by those who had been freed from the alien mercenaries. Thomas kept a vigilant eye on the surroundings, ensuring that no danger followed them from the hidden tunnels. His hand rested on the hilt of his blade. Though the morning light made the world seem calm and peaceful, Mara walked beside him, her posture proud yet calm. The glow in her eyes told the citizens that she had faced incredible challenges and had emerged stronger. The king and queen rushed forward, their faces a mixture of fear, relief, and pride. "Mara!" the queen exclaimed, pulling her daughter into a protective embrace. The king's strong hand rested on Mara's shoulder. "You are safe. We feared the worst." Mara smiled, though her eyes reflected the gravity of the events she had witnessed. "I am safe, father. Thanks to Thomas and the courage of many, we have returned unharmed. The prisoners are safe and the threat has been pushed back for now." Thomas bowed respectfully before the royal family. "Your Majesties, it was my duty to protect the princess and ensure the safety of others. I could not have done it alone." Princess Mara's courage guided all of us. The citizens began cheering, their voices echoing across the palace grounds. Many had witnessed the bravery of Mara and Thomas firsthand, while others had heard tales from the prisoners. Mara stepped forward, addressing the crowd. "People of Elendor, today we faced danger and uncertainty. We confronted forces beyond our understanding, but courage, loyalty, and trust have guided us. Let this be a lesson. Even in the darkest times, we can overcome challenges if we stand together." The crowd erupted in applause, their voices full of admiration and gratitude. Thomas glanced at Mara, noticing a rare softness in her expression. For all her fierce bravery, she allowed herself a quiet moment of pride and relief, trusting that the kingdom was safe once more. After the initial celebrations, Mara and Thomas attended to the rescued prisoners. They were tired and shaken, but Mara's calm presence offered comfort. She spoke gently to each of them, encouraging courage and resilience. Thomas assisted, ensuring that everyone was accounted for and safe. In the quiet moments that followed, Kiro appeared, hovering above the palace gardens. Its soft glow illuminated the courtyard, catching the attention of those nearby. Mara and Thomas stepped forward. "You have returned safely," Kiro said in its gentle, echoing voice. "Your courage and loyalty have been tested. You have succeeded. But remember, this is only the beginning. The universe is vast and there are many challenges yet to come. Mara bowed slightly to the small alien being. We understand. But today our focus is on the kingdom and the people we have sworn to protect. Tomas nodded. We will remain vigilant. Whatever challenges arise, Elendor will not face them unprepared. Kiro's light pulsed softly. Then continue to be brave, loyal, and wise. Your actions have been recognized beyond your world. There are others who observe, learning from your courage. You have shown that strength and honor are not limited to one species or one planet. With that, Kiro drifted away, disappearing into the sky above the palace. Mara and Thomas watched silently, understanding that the encounter had changed them. The universe was larger and more mysterious than they had ever imagined, and their experiences had strengthened their bond. Later, in the council chambers, Mara and Thomas met with the king, queen, and trusted advisors. Mara explained the events in detail, the shimmering lights, the tunnels, Kiro, and the alien mercenaries. She emphasized the importance of vigilance and preparedness. The tunnels were not merely a threat, Mara said. They were a test. I believe that forces beyond our understanding are observing us, learning about our courage, our loyalty, and our choices. We must be ready, but we must also learn from these experiences. The council members exchanged thoughtful glances. Some were skeptical, but all were impressed by Mara's calm authority and Thomas's loyalty. The king spoke finally. Princess Mara, Thomas, you have shown not only bravery but wisdom and leadership. Your actions have protected our people and strengthened our kingdom. We are proud of both of you. Mara inclined her head respectfully. Thank you, Father. But the kingdom's safety is a shared responsibility. I could not have done it alone. Thomas and the others helped guide me through danger. We all contributed to our success. Thomas remained quiet but satisfied, his presence steady and reassuring. Mara's recognition of teamwork reflected her wisdom and humility. The council decided to strengthen the kingdom's defenses, not only against terrestrial threats but also to be prepared for any alien forces that might appear in the future. Mara suggested combining human ingenuity with Elendor's own resources, creating a system of observation and early warning to protect their world. Thomas supported the idea, adding his experience from past missions. Together, they planned a defense network that balanced vigilance with the need to respect other life forms. Days passed as the kingdom recovered. The rescued prisoners were cared for, their stories shared to warn and inspire others. Mara continued to train with Thomas, improving strategies for both combat and diplomacy. Citizens often gathered in the palace gardens to hear tales of courage, learning from the experiences of Mara, Thomas, and the rescued prisoners. One evening, as the sun set behind the palace towers, Mara and Thomas walked together in the gardens. The air was calm, filled with the scent of flowers and the gentle rustle of leaves. Mara paused near a fountain, watching the water reflect the colors of the sunset. Thomas, she said softly, I have faced many challenges in my life, but this was unlike anything I have ever seen. Yet through it all you were by my side. I'm grateful. Thomas smiled faintly. Princess, it is my duty and my honor. You showed courage when many would have faltered. I only followed your lead and protected you as I swore I would. Mara turned to him, her expression serious but warm. Even the fiercest princess needs someone to trust. I trust you, Thomas, completely. Thomas felt a quiet pride. Loyalty was not just a duty, it was a bond. Mara's trust was a recognition of that bond, and he vowed silently to uphold it for as long as he lived. As night fell, the palace lit up with lanterns. The kingdom celebrated, honoring Mara's bravery and Thomas's unwavering loyalty. Songs and stories spread throughout Elendor, inspiring the people with tales of courage, teamwork, and resilience. The memory of the alien tunnels, the mercenaries, and the glowing crystals became part of the kingdom's history, a story to guide future generations. Mara continued her daily routines with renewed determination. She trained with Thomas, studied strategies to strengthen the kingdom, and engaged with the citizens to build trust and unity. The bond between princess and guard became a symbol of hope, showing that courage and loyalty could overcome even the greatest unknown threats. One morning, Mara and Thomas received a message from Kiro, delivered through a small glowing device. You have proven your courage and loyalty. Other worlds observe you. Continue to protect your kingdom and each other. Greater challenges await, but your strength and trust will guide you. Mara smiled, showing the calm confidence that had guided her through the tunnels. We are ready, Thomas. Whatever comes, we face it together. Thomas nodded, Always, princess, always. In the days and months that followed, the kingdom of Elendor grew stronger. Citizens trained and learned from the experiences of Mara and Thomas. Advanced observation systems were built, and alliances with neighboring kingdoms strengthened. The story of the princess who vanished and returned, safe and guided by her human guard, became a legend that inspired courage, loyalty, and hope. Mara and Thomas often walked together in the palace gardens, watching the sun rise over the hills and reflecting on their journey. Each day brought new responsibilities and challenges, but they faced them with determination, wisdom, and trust in each other. The kingdom knew that danger could appear at any moment, but it also knew that courage, loyalty, and teamwork would always stand against it. Princess Mara and Thomas had shown the people of Elendor that even the fiercest challenges could be met with bravery and trust, and that no one faced the unknown alone. As the stars appeared in the night sky, Mara looked up and thought of the tunnels, the glowing crystals, and Kiro. She knew that their journey had opened her eyes to the vastness of the universe and the importance of alliances, loyalty, and courage. Thomas stood beside her, ever vigilant and steady, a reminder that even the strongest hearts needed companions. The kingdom of Elendor was safe, for now. The princess and her guard had returned stronger, wiser, and ready to face whatever came next. Their bond was unbreakable, their courage unmatched, and their loyalty a guiding light for all who lived in the kingdom. With their journey behind them and the future ahead, Mara and Thomas prepared for new challenges, knowing that together they could overcome anything. The fiercest princess had vanished and returned not alone, but with trust, courage, and a loyal companion by her side.